Cashless society. Do you think South Africa is ready to become a cashless society or an economy where transactions are conducted all electronically, digitally, without the use of physical cash or coins? Remember, in a cashless society, people rely entirely on various forms of electronic payments. You're looking at how people transferring money, doing your payments, doing your every sort of financial transactions. What are some things we need to consider if we have to move toward a cashless society? So many things. In a cashless society, remember, electronic payments methods such as your credit cards, your mobile wallet, your online banking, everything are commonly used for these transactions. So these methods allow for people to make payments digitally, often using just your smartphone. You just the back of your phone, or you tap your card or anything like that. Or you can use a tablet, you can use any sort of electronic device that you have. So many advantages are offered by that. It's very convenient, for example. It's the security is heightened. It's efficient. People can make payments so quickly, so easily, and there's no risk of you getting your money stolen or using your physical, getting your physical cash taken away from you. Additionally, these transactions can also be tracked. Yeah, so they can be tracked and recorded, making it easier for you as a person to manage your finances. Some challenges, however, in using cashless methods. That includes your privacy. Cybersecurity. People are now so crafty at stealing money online. And some individuals may not actually have access to these technologies. In the country, we're speaking about a country like most of the African countries, it's so difficult for them to use. For people to even have access to necessary technology that they need to perform these, banking services. And there are so many concerns about privacy as well and security in electronic transactions. So there's a lot involved there. Also, if you look at the global trends, many countries around the world, yes, they are moving toward a cashless societies. If you look at Sweden, Sweden is actually leading. They are the pioneers in this cardless society. They are also not 100% into this. But if you look at the trend overall, it's actually accelerating worldwide. Many countries are actually transforming into some sort of digital payment platforms. And obviously, with the growth of e-commerce, many people are preferring to go digital and to perform transactions without the use of actual cash. Digital currencies as well. Some countries are exploring implementing digital currencies. That's we're not talking about your Bitcoin, your Luna, or your Solana, your all those cryptocurrencies. No, here we're looking at countries transforming their own currency. If you look at South Africa, transforming the rand into a digital form of the rand, like United States has got USDC, I think, yeah, USDC, which is the digital form of the US dollar. So many central banks are actually opting to that, transforming their currencies into a digital form. That's as a way of facilitating cardless or cashless transactions while maintaining some sort of control over their currencies. So like we said, these currencies are not, we're not talking about the cryptocurrencies, forget about those, that's another thing. But we're looking at the currency of the country, transforming it into a digital representation of a country's official currency. And then also in a cashless society, there's a good thing about it. Your physical cash usage obviously declines significantly, and it may even be phased out completely, although no country can say they've completely phased out the use of cash. It's impossible. There's always a little small, everyday transactions that you need cash for. So it's important to note that the degree to which a country or a society becomes cashless can vary widely by country, obviously the region. If you look at Gauteng, for example, which is a more sort of affluent province in the country, yes, there would be some regions where cash would less be used. But if you go to rural parts of the country, it will be difficult to implement that. So yes, so many factors will come into play, including your technological infrastructure, government policies, cultural preferences as well. They are just people who believe in cash, using cash. So do you think South Africa is ready to become a cardless country? The Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, is calling for a cashless economy right in this province. Do you think it's feasible? Do you think South Africa is ready for that? And just as you might think, the reason why he's doing that is because of the spike in cash in transit heist. 249 robberies have been recorded just this year, since January 2023. Just last weekend, I think. Was it last weekend? Yes. The N12, the national road, N12 in Johannesburg was closed off following a robbery where cash then was blown up. So he's saying that if you've got cash, if you've got less cash, then there won't be an ATM bombings and things like that. But remember, these things are happening in broad daylight on a national road. So do you think it's feasible to go cashless in our province, in this province? Listen to him as he speaks.
For the benefits of our listeners, and perhaps that one person who's asking themselves, okay, so what does a cashless society have to do with cash in transit heists? I guess it's an opportunity to go down and evaluate the value chain here, in the sense that these cash in transit vehicles collect money from retailers, from stores, etc., and they then transport that money to the banks. And so, Premier Lesufi, you are saying if there's less money to transport to the banks, then it means less cash in transit vehicles and therefore less potential for these type of incidences. Is that the logic here?
Indeed, that's the logic. If you've got less cash, don't be ATM bombings. If you've got less cash, you're not going to have this cash in transit bombings. If you've got less cash, you're not going to have business robberies. You've got less cash, people are not going to be attacked in their houses or kidnapped, because now we are seeing a new trend where people are kidnapped and large amount of monies have been asked by these criminals. So we really believe migrating to a cashless society is the future. We never thought we would live in an era where a checkbook would be history. Today, all banks have issued a communique. They no longer take a check. And you know, when checkbook was found, it was a revolutionary thing. Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones. Stone Age ended because there were new innovative methods to improve our lives. And we really believe to migrate to cashless, especially in a province like Gauteng, where we've got the necessary technological backup, where our fiber network is strong, and we have lots and lots of free Wi-Fi spots and many other things. And our investment there can necessitate or compel us to move to a cashless society. And we really believe that's the future that we need to embrace, and embrace as quickly as possible.
So you can see cash in transit heists have been a major issue in South Africa. And transitioning to a cashless society, we must be honest, this could indeed help to reduce the frequency of these incidences. However, it being feasible or not, that's a complex question. You know, Fidelity, which is one of the companies that transports cash in the country, in most parts of the country, they actually admit that this is actually going to be a problem. It's not something that's so easy to be done right now. Listen to what one of their representatives had to say when asked whether South Africa is ready to transform into a cashless country.
13 cash-in-transit robberies in the past few days, 22 security officers killed, over 120 officers injured. For the people who put their lives at risk every day to move money around the country, it's becoming an increasingly dangerous job. Let's speak now to Val Bartman, CEO of the Fidelity Group. What do you think can be done? I mean, do you think that ultimately we need to look at how we move South Africa to a largely cashless society, as we're seeing other countries do?
The state of this industry and where we are now It's crucial. You spoke about cash declining. Unfortunately, cash is not declining in South Africa. It's actually increasing. You look at the informal settlement in the areas, and remember, we collect all these cash at all these areas and move that to centralized points. So it is an increase. I don't think it's quite soon that it's going to disappear. Cash is part of our lives. There's a lot of it going around, and we need to manage, and we need the protection and support from government to assist us in this.
Cashless society in South Africa. That's like trying to teach a penguin to salsa dance in the Sahara Desert. Ambitious, but perhaps it's a tad unrealistic. You know, we're living in a country where the majority of people depend on cash to actually survive. Daily transactions are dependent on cash. You know, if you're in South Africa, when cashless payments involve a game of ear fraud, you don't even know whether your transfer will go through smoothly or will it vanish into the digital abyss. You don't know. You just place your bets for it. So going cashless in South Africa will be like trying to herd cats. It's possible, yes. You can do it. But you're going to encounter a lot of resistance and someone will inevitably get scratched at some point. So many challenges as well. You look at connectivity. Do we have enough connectivity to actually do digital transactions? Do we have that capacity in our country? We're not just looking at the major cities like your Johannesburg, your Durban, and do we have the capacity to do that? Yeah, so in all seriousness, transitioning to a cashless society, it can have a lot of benefits, we must admit. That includes your risk of, these cash in transit heists. However, it's very, very important to consider the challenges and ensure that we have good infrastructure, enough infrastructure, your education as well. People need to be educated about it. Look at the massive population of South Africa. How many people are not actually educated on how to even go to the ATM too? How many people ask for help on the ATM? Ask the security to assist them to just push in the card and type the numbers. It's not easy. It's a long, long way to go, guys. And that's the majority of people that we're talking about. Remember, the majority of people in South Africa that live in the rural parts of South Africa, in the rural parts of the country. So those things have to be considered. Infrastructure, education, security measures. Do we have enough security measures in the country to make it possible, feasible for people to conduct their transactions electronically? Think about the crime statistics. Cyber crime in South Africa is going up. That has been proven. So do you think we're even close to that? We need to sort out our crime stats. Our crime stats needs to go down for us to even to start thinking of transitioning toward that digital space. Yes, South Africa has made strides in connectivity, but there is still many spots with less internet, if we have to be honest. Then we also have financial inclusion challenge. Not everyone has a bank account in this country. Many friends still rely on cash. There are just people who also just believe in using cash. They don't even have a bank account. Perhaps they don't have an ID, or they just don't believe in putting money in the bank. The culture has to change. People need to learn to be part of the bank, to be connected to a bank, and not just to handle cash. And there are many people who just believe in keeping the cash in their home, in their couch. That's the society that we live in. So the culture has to change. There's lots that needs to change. And also don't forget trust and security. Cybersecurity concerns can really make digital payments scarier than a haunted house. After all, nobody wants their hard-earned money to just vanish like that into the digital Bermuda Triangle. No, people believe in seeing their money in flesh, in cash, than just knowing they have 10,000 rands on their account. They want to see it in cash, hoarding it and smelling it. Yeah, so the likes of Sweden, they are really inspiring us. They are pioneers in this aspect of, they've gone pretty far down this cashless road. But if we have to be honest, they also have some bumps, some hiccups here and there. Even in that country, it turns out that not everyone is happy about leaving cash behind. Some of the friends out there prefer to just have cash, like how I prefer to have chocolate over vanilla ice cream. There's a bit of fear that digital systems can actually go haywire. Anything can happen. Imagine being stuck at the grocery store checkout when the card reader decides, it wants to take a day off, or it just declines. There's no money, but you've got money. So, a cashless South Africa, is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. But just like any good adventure, there are also many challenges and a few twists and turns along the way, guys. We are still very far. If we have to be honest, we're still very far from getting there. I think our lovely premier is very optimistic. He wants to get there, but we have to be honest, we're too far from getting there. Stay tuned, guys, because this journey is just getting started. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more techie tidbits, and share this video with your friends. Until next time, keep those digital wallets handy. The future is cashless, but with a few roadblocks here and there. Cheers, guys.